Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoiint, and today I'm going to tell you why I chose the long range Tesla Model 3 over the performance model and the standard range plus. So I've had the Tesla Model 3 for just over 6 months now, and it's actually quite surprising how many people ask why I didn't go for the standard range, or why I didn't just go for the performance model. So I wanted to explain why I went for this version over the other two, and kind of my thinking behind it. But I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. So we started this year on just 300 subs, and through your support we're nearly at 10,000 already, so thank you. But if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a like on this video, as it really does help me out. So firstly, when it comes to ordering a Tesla Model 3, which is kind of like ordering a phone online, you have 3 different versions to choose from, excluding any add-ons. You've got the standard range plus, the all-wheel drive long range, and the performance model. There are a number of differences between the 3 versions, but the main one, other than the price, is the battery size, which essentially gives you more range and higher performance amongst other things. So jumping straight in and taking a look at the 3 versions here, you've got the standard range plus, which is £40,500, has a range of 254 miles, a top speed of 140, and a 0 to 60 of 5.3 seconds. So that's still pretty quick, to say it's the slowest model in the lineup. Then there's the long range, which is nearly £47,000, has a range of 348 miles, a top speed of 145, and a 0 to 60 of just 4.4 seconds. And then finally, you've got the performance model, which is £56,500, has a range of 329 miles, a top speed of 162, and a 0 to 60 of an incredible 3.2 seconds. 3.2 seconds. So on the face of it, the major difference is the price. Roughly 6,000 from the standard to the long range, and then 10,000 from the long range to the performance. But there's also a slight difference in the interior between the standard range and the other two, not something that you'd notice just by looking. So the standard range actually comes with partial premium interior. Now that includes 12-way power and heated front seats, upgraded audio, and a 30-day trial to the premium connectivity. So that's things like Netflix, Spotify, satellite maps, and so on. But the long range and the performance model, that also comes with power and heated front seats, but it also comes with heated rear seats. Then it comes with the premium audio, which includes 14 speakers, a subwoofer and 2 amps, as well as the immersive sound. But then it also comes with LED fog lights, interior mats, and it comes with a year subscription to the premium connectivity. So the biggest difference here, really, it's the audio, the fog lights, and the rear heated seats. As let's be honest, the mats and the premium connectivity can be bought anyway, although it's obviously nice to have them thrown in. Then onto the exterior of the 3 versions, kind of what sets them apart from each other. So the standard range and the long range look almost identical side by side. They both have the 18-inch aero wheels, and other than the dual motor badge on the rear and the fog lights on the front, you wouldn't really be able to tell them apart. But the performance model has a few exterior differences that really does set it apart from the other two. Firstly, it has the 20-inch alloys, the red brake calipers, the dual motor badge, the same as the long range on the back, but this one is underlined in red, and it has the carbon fibre spoiler. On top of that, it does have a different suspension setup, although you'd be pushed to notice that just by looking at it. So at the time of ordering mine, the only wheels available for the long range and the standard range were the 18-inch aero wheels. There was nothing else. But now you are able to order it and add the 19-inch alloys instead, and they are £1,400, which, to be honest, is actually a really good price for a set of alloys. Then there's the option to change the paint from the free white to black, midnight silver, blue, or red, each varying from £1,000 to £2,000. There's also a tow hitch if you need one, which is just another £1,000 again, and you can choose between 2 interiors. So you've got the all black and the white. The main difference here are the seats and the door cards. It's either black or white, and then you've got the dash trim is either wood or white again. Then finally you have autopilot, which is included with all 3 versions anyway, but you do have the option to pay £5,800 to take the full self-drive capability, allowing you to use summon, auto park, and auto lane change essentially. So which one did I go for? Well, I went for the long range all-wheel drive, with the free white paint and the all black interior. So for me, it was actually a really easy choice. I kind of weighed up the overall cost versus the pros and cons of each version. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to break it down why I personally think the long range is the better choice over the standard range and the performance model. Okay, so the benefits over the standard range are you get a bigger battery, which obviously means nearly 100 extra miles on a full charge. Now, I'll be honest, I rarely do 300 miles in a single day, but it's nice to have the option when I need to. That also means fewer charging stops on longer trips. 300 miles almost feels the same as driving any of my previous petrol cars. Next is the all-wheel drive. So I've owned several rear-wheel drive cars over the years, and although fun, I just prefer the four-wheel drive. It feels more planted and obviously helps with the one day of snow that we get here in the UK. Then there's the 0 to 60, so it's quicker. So although 5.3 seconds to 60 really is quick enough, the 4.4 seconds just feels fast, but without feeling ridiculous. It's still quicker than any of the previous cars that I've owned by about half a second. Then lastly, the premium interior, which was the final selling point for me. So when you hear the difference between the audio in the standard range and the long range or performance version, it's incredible. I mean, the audio in the standard range is okay, but the 14 speakers and the sub in the premium interior is so much better. And as soon as I sat in and I heard it side by side, I was sold. I knew that I wasn't going to be hearing any engine noise anymore, so I needed to know that I would have good audio. Now, comparing the long range with the performance model, which I'm kind of expecting a few people to be interested in this. So you get the same battery in both the long range and the performance, which is 75 kilowatts, and actually slightly more range than the performance. Not much, but enough. You also get the same all-wheel drive setup, so nothing different there at all. The premium interior is the same in both, so you get the front and rear heated seats, you get the premium connectivity, you get speakers, the sub, amps, fog lights, and the interior mats. But now on to the reasons why I prefer the long range over the performance model. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that where I live it's country roads and fields. And I'll be honest, I had my sensible head on when ordering, and I knew that the lower, firmer and sportier suspension in the performance model would have been a less enjoyable drive where I live. It could have even been too low on some of the roads that I regularly drive. And on top of that, the 20-inch wheels would likely have come with low profile tyres, and I've had cars in the past with 20-inch rubber band tyres on before, which has resulted in cracked alloys, and I really don't fancy repeating that again. Then the only other differences to me was the spoiler, which I added on the first day anyway, the performance brakes, which are never used, and the 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds, which I knew I'd probably use to show it off to my mates, but with my wife and kids in the car, I probably wouldn't use the difference anyway. I'm not saying I don't want the power, I do. I'm just saying that I wouldn't use it enough to justify the other compromises I'd have to make. Then to top it off again, coming at this from a semi-sensible point of view, the running costs would probably be higher on the performance over the long range. So I would have anticipated that the performance would cost me more in insurance, tyre replacements due to the size, efficiency as I'd probably put my foot down more and it does get slightly less range, new brakes which obviously are rare anyway but still a higher cost when they are needed to be replaced. So for me, the sweet spot was the long range. It has the same premium interior, all-wheel drive and battery as the performance model, a modest 0 to 60 speed, lower running costs, and it costs £10,000 less. You could spend the £1,500 on the power upgrade, bringing the 0 to 60 to 3.8 seconds, and you've got an awesome all-rounder. I think it looks stealthy too, so as people could assume it's the standard range other than the dual motor badge on the back, but especially if you opted for the £1,500 boost upgrade. I will add though that there's no denying the performance wheels and brakes look better, especially the new darker wheels that they brought in at the end of 2019. But just my personal circumstances meant that the 18-inch wheels were better for me along with the suspension setup. Well, I hope my explanation made sense to you. I know that was probably a lot to take in, but that wraps up the reasons why I chose the long range over the other two versions. What do you think? Do you think they're justified? Would you go for the standard range, the long range, or the performance? I'm still happy with the choice that I made today, but what are your thoughts? And which version do you or would you go for? But just remember that whichever version you do opt for, you really can't go wrong with any of them. Well, as always, thanks for watching, and I hope this video was useful to you, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Until next time.